Hello. Hello. Let me try and add. Um, there. Uh-huh. Hi, 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 hi. Hi. Perfect. Hi.
Hello, Noeli. How are you doing?
Doing very, very well. I'm trying to add. Hi, Adley.
Oh, okay.
Hi.
Good.
Okay.
Thank you. It's lovely, Matilda. How you guys doing? How's your day going?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm okay. Just running around.
I know, right? I
Yeah.
have to run out soon,
Mhm.
I'm
but then
telling
I'll
you,
join in here. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need to take a walk outside. The weather looks good today, so
Hmm.
gotta take
Yeah.
advantage. Happy first day
Welcome
of
to
spring to
spring.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
sorry, just a second. It says that the others are unable to join.
I think
Um,
I was
I'll try
talking to
again.
TD earlier.
Yeah. But
Oh, she's here.
okay,
Oh,
till
good.
you see.
Get it
Okay,
done.
okay,
Thank
okay.
God.
All right. Perfect. Hi, 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 hi.
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 Hi,
Thank you.
Adelaide.
Hi, Tilly.
Thank you for agreeing to do this with me. Yeah, my brain is just
Make a
but
breathe.
yeah, thank you for agreeing to do this with me. And I know that there's a lot of wisdom, there's a lot of very important stuff that's going to be shared here today. And I believe that your stories um, are symbolic of resilience, strength, and go getters. And if I dare say, pace setters, because each one of you has broken some form of barrier ceiling somewhere, something. So we're going to dive right in. You could just introduce yourself, tell us, whatever you want us to know about you and your academics, where you are currently, all of that, and then we can dive in. Oh,
I guess
anybody.
I can
Okay.
go first.
I knew,
Please.
I promise, I knew.
Please, sister, please.
I I
Yes,
mean,
better. Go ahead.
so my name is Adelaide Delali Kluche. I'm a third year PhD candidate at the
Hey.
Pennsylvania State University. I'm originally from Ghana. I went to Legon. I've been doing home economics all my life, virtually. So if you are hearing like human development and family studies, it's a cute name for some aspects of home economics with
Okay.
some with some additions. Yes, and I've been in the US now 6 years. I came in 2019 for my master's at Kansas State and then transitioned to Penn State for my PhD. I ran the Family Life Education Hub Ghana, which is a space meant to provide scientifically sound information to parents in Ghana. So
Hmm.
that's a little bit about me.
Did you hear the summarized CV?
At this point, I'm exiting because
And we have Francisca that will join us later. But if you hear Francisca's CV too,
all this pressure, all these pay setters. Oh my God. See,
okay, who's next?
I could go.
Okay,
Oh,
you
Teddy,
go.
go now.
No, 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 Shivana, you go first.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Shivana Sofianta. I recently graduated with my master's degree in international development from the American University in DC. I came here, I think last Monday was my third year of being in the United States. And my international development was specific to community development because I tend to think things work better if they're from the local up. Like top down approaches don't work a lot because they are using like high level things. But when it's from grassroots, it actually works better because you're involving the people and building up with them. So that's what chose made me do international development. And Yeah, it's been an interesting journey, and I'm excited to just share my stories and just learn from all of us here. But yeah.
So someone just sent a question, Shivon, and we'll come to that. The person said, "When did you get your accent?"
Oh my God.
Well, don't
Don't worry.
worry. We'll come to that. We'll come to that. Tilly,
Okay. Hi everyone. Wait, can you hear me fine?
Yeah.
yes, we
Okay.
can hear you.
So my name is Matilda Ansa, and I'm currently a fourth year doctoral candidate at the University of Wisconsin Milwaukee. And my research focus is in immigration, 20th century U.S. immigration history, empire studies, and colonial education. And I came to the U.S. in 2019 for my master's degree in history, and I continued straight into my PhD afterwards because I always knew from the get go that I wanted to go down the academia route. So there was no break in there, was just transition after transition. And I'm currently living in Wisconsin, and hi to everyone on the line. Yes.
You people, I have the women. I have the women. And just listening to all of you speak, and I know like behind the scenes how very serious people you are. It's just very reflective of the whole International Women's Day celebration thing is women being able to achieve things for themselves and then kind of like fast tracking the things that are already happening. So accelerating action. And I think that having conversations like these, number one, help people to hear real life stories, but also these stories carry truths that are very practicable and can be replicated by others to get similar results. I thought to myself that everybody is sharing, the CEOs 50 under 50, all of that. But I know people who are thriving and doing amazing in their small corner, well, small global corner. And I just thought, hey, let me have conversations with them. There's so much they can share that I know some of you, you never come on live to share anything with anybody because that's not your style. And in fact, for all of you that I'm speaking with right now, you are all very, show action and not talk too much kind of people. But I'm actually really glad that you indulge, me with this to have this conversation. So, first question. Those with the accent, pardon us today. But first question is, what motivated you to pursue higher education? Like before we even come to coming abroad, but what motivated you to pursue higher education? Because for a lot of people, and even for Adelaide, in the field, Adelaide and I did the same thing from university, like first degree. From the field we come from, higher education is not the way out, it's not the next step. So for all of you, just talk us through what motivated you to continue schooling, to go through like the next steps in higher education.
So again, I can start. I,
Okay.
I guess for me, it's the annoyance that came with stereotypes. That's like one of my big motivations. If you tell me that I cannot do something, that is the more reason why I will do it.
Mm,
So going back, home economics and everybody else expected me to be like a nurse or something. And I respect nurses, but I have never wanted to be a nurse.
mm,
And so home econs and everybody's like, oh, we are be nursing and I'll be a teacher. I'm sorry. No, that's not what it was for me.
yeah.
And I just needed to prove a point to myself and to others that I didn't do home economics because I'm daft, that like I did it because it was a space that I found myself in. And so I just made up my mind very, very early on, right in senior high school, that I was going to get to the peak of all of this, regardless of the stereotypes and all those things that were set to hold me back. I just knew that I was going to get to the peak of whatever life looked like in terms of career. And then going to the University of Ghana, Dr. Takio Fosu, I always mention her name when I talk because she is one of the
Adelaide,
people.
Doc is watching. Doc is watching.
She is like one of the people that really motivated me. And I remember in the parenting class when like we would talk about how parenting is done and we would reflect upon how it is in the West. And she would talk about how going to school abroad is very important and how it is good and it's a good opportunity. So like she's been one of my big motivations. And so when I was in Legon, it was like, okay, undergrad. And I was just still thinking, is there anything higher? And I remember that there was once, Doc has a library at the Child Study Center, and we had to clean out the library. That was the moment for me. I saw CVs. Oh my God. Like, people had become professors, and like just reading the rundown of copies of their CVs, seeing where they had gone to school, what they had done. Like at that moment in cleaning that library, I made the mental note. I knew that this was it. Like there was something beyond undergrad, and I was going to get it. So that's how come I came to this point.
Perfect. You know what? So Dr. Takio Fosu, when if you mention that name, you've pressed the button on me. If you mention that name, you've pressed the button. And she's been watching since I started. All of them, and she'll talk to me about it's like this is this, this is that. And when they say women don't support women, like it's a lie. It's a lie. And every time I talk about Dr. Takio Fosu, I get emotional because she sees beyond where you are to who you can become. And I've seen her nurture and force so many of us into where we are now. Usually, like on all the other episodes, I don't talk about myself, but this one, and I know that like usually she'll watch after, or then she'll text me that's like I'm watching, but I have to leave. But this one that she says she's watching, I want to say this as she's hearing that if there's ever a reason that made me pursue higher education after University of Ghana is because of a Dr. Vivian Takiofosu, who said to me that, hey, in her very words, hey, there's more, there's more, there's more. And she said, what do you want to do? Are you telling me that that's what you want to do? No. And she saw beyond what I could see at the time. And she said, you know what? I'm sending you XYZ schools. Apply. In fact, and I know she'll be saying, hey, keep quiet, but I'm going to say it, Doc. She sent me three schools and said, hey, apply to these schools. And she said she gave me three reasons why she's asking me to apply to these three different schools. And she said, you know what, I've prayed about it. Apply to this particular one, just this one. And the one I applied to was I came on a scholarship, and she will constantly tell me, hey, do this, do that. And the thing about her is she doesn't hold back. If she knows something, she'll share. She doesn't hold back. And even places that she couldn't go, she'll say, you know what? And she'll always say, I told my daughter Antonia to do this, you to do it, do it, do it. And she treats everybody that takes her as a mother the same as you are her daughter. Um, I mean, I can go on and on and on about Doc, but Dr. Takio Fosu is an unsung hero in the lives of thousands of people who go through the Family and Consumer Science program, and outside of that, wherever you meet her. And I'm just taking the time to do this because she hates public acknowledgement. She hates it. But since she cannot say anything at this, since she can't say anything, I'm taking the liberty. I'll pay for it later behind the scenes, and Adelaide and Francisca will help me soothe her. But Doc, we appreciate you. You are a pivot in our lives. You bring change, you bring direction, you bring clarity, and you bring that force that we need to get us going. And we appreciate you. We love you. Our names are going global, and your name is attached to it. It's who said last born? Francisca, don't let me hose you over there. But yes, okay, go on. Who's next?
I could
Um,
go.
oh,
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
no, you
So,
go.
You know what?
yeah.
Actually, sorry. If I don't say this, I've not done justice to this story. Now, after I finished my master's degree, I went back to Ghana. To I'm looking for money. Life is lifing. Um, but then I got to a point where the same Dr. Takeo Fosu says, hey, you have moneyed for too long. You have stayed like, okay, masters is great. You've done excellent for yourself. But there's more. There's better. There's this. What are you doing? And then I gave her, oh, I'm gonna do. She gave me some time. And then she says, you know what? Apply. I said, okay, fine, I'll apply. I applied to a particular school. I'll mention names for, lack of. I applied to that school, and let me just say, University of Ghana. And she encouraged my application. She encouraged my application.
I
And
have a story with
she encouraged my application and then told me that that's not where, like, that's not it for you. Like, I'm just letting you know that it's great. You can apply. I'm on the board. I'll take you. But that's not where you are going to. And she even, like, will sit with me, have conversations. And she's a mother. She is a midwife. She's everything you can think of when it comes to bringing people. I don't even want to call her a mentor because she does beyond that. And because she's watching, if I don't say this, I'm not doing justice to the relevance that she is to me. So, and a lot of us. So, yeah. Adelaide, you want to say something about Doc?
she will encourage you to do whatever you want, but at the end of the day, it's the big picture that will go. Like, think as small as you want to think. She would entertain your
Yeah,
smallness, but at the
yeah,
end of the day, she'll push you to the bigger picture.
exactly, exactly. Doc,
God
before
bless you,
before
Doc.
you send text messages, we love you. That's why we are doing this.
Yeah.
Mhm.
God bless you, Doc. I think for me, I mean, I don't know her, but I'm really encouraged by her story and just the person she is. So God bless you so much.
Mhm.
But I think for me, what motivated my higher education, so I did Chinese and linguistics in UT. I also went to Legon. And I've known that whatever type of work I do, I always have to work with people. Like, I'm extrovert on the extensive degree. So I always have to interact with people. But I think what made we finished UG and then during national service, we were doing COVID. It was during COVID. So like half of that, the latter parts of national service were all at home. And I think I was just bored. One. Two, I knew that I still had the capacity to learn. Like education was nice for me. So for me, those were like my two major factors. Even though when I applied in 2019, 2020, I didn't get through, I still had the desire to do a higher education. But also one of my cousins, she had a master's degree and she'll always be like, she's like my Dr. Taki. Like, Shivana, you got to do more. What are you doing next? What are you doing next? I'm like, okay, okay, okay. But I think for me, primarily, there was a zeal to learn. And when I'm running on that high energy, I move with this because when it dissipates, that's it. So I just ran on that and I was like, okay, I think I want to do school. I changed a lot of things along the way, but that was my running motivation. I had the desire to continue like learning. So that's all that's how I even decided, okay, I'm gonna pursue college, I'm gonna pursue like even a master's degree.
Yeah,
But not a PhD. But
you never know.
okay.
Let Dr. Taki find you. But yeah,
Okay. So yeah, just to re-echo what Shivana said, yeah, God bless people like Dr. Taki because there's something so refreshing about hearing women who are being
I'm telling
change
you, she's
makers.
messaging me.
Yeah, there's something very refreshing and soothing about women who are making a change in the spaces that they find themselves. And they might not always be people who want to take the center stage themselves, but they're the people who are always behind the stage, making sure that like the people who need to be ushered into certain seasons of their life are doing so. And so we appreciate women like her wherever they are. I guess for me, one of the things that really got me going with regards to pursuing a graduate degree outside of Ghana and after undergrad was the fear of being unfulfilled. Because towards the end of undergrad, you finish the 4 year journey, you are in level 300, level 400. I was just so afraid of becoming that Legon girl who is doing an office work, and okay, work has closed, and she's sitting in the staff bus, and she's going to Spintex. So she's holding a handbag and she's sitting in the staff bus. So when she gets home, then she'll buy Kelly and put it in her bag and go home, and then rinse and
With
repeat. I was
pork
just
or coke.
with right with pork or with coke, and I'm like, no, God, like this can't be me. So for me, it was, very much the fear of, I don't want to do a job like most people in Ghana where you are doing the job because it's money. At the end of the day,
Yeah.
you get your money, you pay your rent. I knew that I couldn't stick to that particular script for more than 2 years. And so for me, it was more of the quest of finding something that would make me feel fulfilled and something where I could play according to my strengths. I needed to be doing something where every day when I wake up, there's something so exciting about a book I'm going to read in class, a conversation I'm going to be having, like students I'm going to be teaching, that needs to get me going. Because if I don't find that little spark of joy, I'm just going to be that woman with a frowny face sitting in a DVLA office somewhere who is giving people attitude when they come. Because God knows that in my heart I don't want to be there, but I need to go because of the money. So for me, it's really the fear of living an unfulfilled life and just doing things for doing sake. I wanted something more than that. So yeah, that's my motivational.
Fabulous. Fabulous. I know Adelaide has to leave in a bit, so I'll kind of like let her do some
Yeah.
more talking before she goes quickly.
Yeah, that's okay.
Adelaide,
I'm
if that's
actually
okay.
standing at the bus stop,
Okay,
so I'm
all
still
right, no
able to
problem.
log in.
Okay. So just I know you came to the US and pursuing higher education before traveling abroad became, a serious, desire. Like the whole Japa thing. Um what what was like so talk to people who are rushing to pursue higher education because they want to relocate, and like just be real with them. What are you
Okay.
coming to meet?
Okay. So, like I tell everyone, if it is to run away from Ghana, don't do it. You would have an opinion. You would say it's because I'm already in the US. I'm telling you as a sister, don't do it. If it's to run away from Ghana, don't do it. If it's because you love knowledge and are excited about new things, welcome home. That's all I'll say. Because there are times when you would question your decision. And sometimes I say this to people that, hey, even me, I wanted to come to school. That's why I came. And I'm struggling. Like I'm asking myself questions every time. What if I didn't want to come to school? What if it is because I was frustrated because of bad governance, a terrible economy, and remained in the program? And I don't think I'll be making good progress. So
Mm.
again, if it is just to run away, please rethink your decision.
Okay. And then I know that you've done a lot of student leadership. How would you say that just doing extracurricular things have influenced the outcome or the outcome of your journey right now?
Okay, so with that, you know how in Ghana we say who you know, right? In this space, it's who knows you. You have to put yourself out there and be willing to take the risk, to be willing to be uncomfortable with the space because it's really who knows you. If you have to select from 50 people and no one knows your name, no one knows your name, no one knows your face, no one knows who you are. So, and saying all those things also as that don't just take up the positions because you want the positions. Take it because you want to leave the space better than you met it. Because people remember things a lot in this space. So if you are the kind of person who takes up 101 things and does not perform, that will negatively impact your reputation in the long run. And as we all know, a good name is better than riches. So, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. When she was saying all that, what came to my mind is in Ghana, when people go and do extracurricular, it is ceremonial. Like
For the CV.
it's for the CV, it's ceremonial.
Yeah.
But then the like Adelaide is saying over here, that is you to your link to put yourself out there. And it's your link to kind of like show um what you have and who you are and the skills that you have. And I know in one of the sessions, someone, like, we had talked a bit on the relevance of volunteering and how that puts you, like, it's kind of a CV without you even telling people this and this and this and this. So yeah, perfect, definitely. Adelaide, are you able to take maybe like one more question?
Yeah, I can take one more. I'm on the bus, so
Okay, okay. So you know what? Let me change the question. What was the most exciting thing for you about coming to school in another country?
the most exciting thing about coming to school in another country, I guess, is the new experience. Because before I came to the US in 2019, I had studied at the University of Sussex when I was an undergrad. And so I did a summer abroad. So that kind of opened, oh gosh, that opened my eyes a lot and like broadened. And that also was motivated by Dr. Vivian Takiokusu, her talking about studying abroad in a class. And I was like, okay, I should try it. So that was my first try. So it was the excitement of a new space and the fact that I knew that shame on to people who said I was dumb or that because I did home economics. This is me doing graduate school, even though I read home economics. And so that was like one of the exciting things.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Adelaide. And if you have to drop off at this point, that's fine. Francisca will continue from where you're leaving off.
Yes, and then when I'm like done with my brief engagements, I'll come back. So yeah,
Perfect,
nice
perfect,
meeting you
perfect.
all.
Yes,
Nice meeting you,
yes,
Adelaide, too.
absolutely. So I think let me just get Francisca to come on. Francisca, do you see my request for you to join? If yes, please accept so that you can come on. So two of you, let's continue. What was your first impression, like when you landed?
I landed in spring, like late winter. It was cold. I was like, oh my God, because I really don't like the cold. So I
Mm-hmm.
was just like, oh my God, this is terribly cold. But I also thought like, oh my God, newsfeed, like the system is working. Like I came through Dallas in IAD. I have been here before, like for a summer holiday, but just taking everything in. I was on a drive with my uncle to my sister's place, and I was just like, everything is so perfect in this country. Oh my God, my motherland. What's happening? Like, no, I think just taking everything in, like on the drive to where my sister was, and was just
Wait, from your day one you landed, no, you were like the system is working.
because I was asking my uncle questions. I'll be like, oh, this is what it is. This is what it is. So I was like, oh, yo, like there are a lot of things like work because I'm very passionate about Ghana, and I'm like, this black they're not doing well for us. So I was just like,
Mhm.
oh my God, things really work here. And so it was just like a 3 hour drive. But because we're having so much interactions, I was like, oh my God, we have a long way to
Yeah.
go. But the first thing that hit me was the cold. I was like, it's too cold in this country. It was too cold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why I'm saying Francisca can't join. But okay, Matilda, how about you?
So for me, it was. I also like Shiva. For me, I came in the fall, and in Illinois, in the Midwest, in the fall, it's very windy. So when I landed at O'Hare, the first thing was, where is everybody? Like, in America, people work with this sense of I'm busy. Like everybody is just so focused on where they are going. So I was like, what is everybody doing that they seem so busy? And for me,
Yeah.
my mind was more on I hope I don't get lost. Because you land from the plane, your Airtel or MTN or whatever has stopped
That's
working.
good. Yeah.
And if you were in Ghana, you find some uncle somewhere and say, oh, Pacho me to me the phone
And
now from me auntie
hotspot.
Anna. But over here, I mean, like the Wi-Fi, I was just thankful that the Wi-Fi in the airport was working, so I was able to contact whoever was picking me up. Okay, I'm here. I'm here. Next thing you know, you're on your way. But then, I mean, at a point, I started getting scared because as we were moving away from Chicago, and Noelle, you were also in Illinois, it's a lot of cornfields. I was thinking, hey, is this man going to kill me? Because they've picked you up in Chicago, you've seen the skyscrapers, the tall buildings, everything is exciting. Then you sit in the car and they are taking you and you're just driving past miles and miles of confused. It was not even funny. I was like, is this man going to kill me? But then, I mean, I eventually got to the destination and I'm still alive to the glory of God. So for me, I was just praying that it will end in praise and this will not be the end of my story. And my friends won't have to come and do justice for Tilly because she was going to America and they stole her from the airport. So it was more of God, please let me just get to my destination safe and sound. Yeah. So that honestly, that was my first impression. I just needed to preserve my life. So it was, yeah, self-preservation
My
first.
God.
Yeah. So,
To be honest, I can relate with the O'Hare. I remember um
Well,
focus.
I landed in O'Hare on a Sunday, and my whole mind was just me. Oh, you didn't go to church. You didn't go to church. When I landed, got my bags, everything, and I was going to, wherever who will pick me up. I mean, some guy was already talking about some religion or something, and I was like, "Hey, now you from Maryland, and he's already wanting to read my palm." And like, no, it's not even read my palm, but he wanted to like tell my fortune or something. And I was like, you know what, like I'm not here for this. The winter coats that I was wearing, I was feeling hot in the winter coats. Now I came in the fall. I was feeling hot in the you know what, let me stop, because you're just taking me back to places. But anyway, so let's talk a bit about culture shock. What was culture shock for you?
America is such an individualized country, and I don't think I'm over it. I
When you
think
say, when you say individualized, break it down.
like it's such a do-it-yourself country. Like everybody can survive on their own. And I think growing up in Ghana, I always had to have like a community around me. Like I grew up with like we're like over 20 people living in the house.
Yeah,
So like there was always like our neighbors would come to our house. Like there was always people. But I come here and if I don't step out, it's like Ghana, like or even like UG, someone was come and knock your door, be like, "Oh, how are you? I haven't seen you walking around in a while." Like you cannot see your neighbor for 2 months, and it's like it's not a problem. It's just
yeah,
like everybody's, and I was just like, "Wait, what?" Yeah, like everybody does things on their own, and I was just like, unbelievable.
yeah. Here, like someone, like abroad, somebody can die and they don't even realize till days after, because they are very, like you said, individualized. Everybody do it yourself, be by yourself, figure things out on your own. Matilda, how about you?
So for me, I would say that the cultural shock, and even till this day, still of a cultural shock for me, is just the sheer amount of resources that they have at their disposal. Like it's so incredible when I found out about how food pantries work. You're telling me I should just pick a bag, pick anything that I see over there and take it home and not pay for it. Like that's incredible. You are telling me there are library resources. Somebody can read over my essay and correct me. You are telling me my professor has office hours to go and talk to me about anything I want to talk about and how they can help me. It was, yeah, just so incredible. And how, and like I also allude to what Shivona is saying about how America is do it yourself. And for me, it was actually something that I really liked because I've always been the independent kind of person. So for people like me, I can thrive in a place like America where learn how to find things for yourself, learn how to go somewhere by yourself. Like it's not like Ghana where somebody will hold your hand and do it with you. Nope. Over here, you literally going to do things like getting a driver's license, open the website, you read it, gather the documents and go, right?
Mhm.
There's nothing like, oh, my uncle somewhere and my uncle is going to send me a voice note and tell me what to do and where to print this and bring it the next month. No, 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 no. Over here, sort yourself out and then get it moving. So like Shivona, yeah, I agree with America being a very individualized place, but like I already mentioned, for me, the biggest cultural shock was the amount of resources that they have. And then also, a bit on the sad note, is the fact that even though these resources exist, some of the Americans themselves, they don't seem to have an appreciation for the sheer weight of the resources that they have. But I guess it's just me coming from the third world. So it lets me see things in a very different perspective. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, I definitely agree about Americans not, you know, um using the resources that they have. And I think particularly because we come from where those resources are not at our disposal, that's why we even have that perspective. Because I try to like talk to people and I'm finding out, why are you not using this? Did you know that there was even this scholarship available like for Americans? Like me, I can't apply,
Mhm.
but like, have you applied? And they're like, oh no, 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 no. I'm like, if you come from where I come from, you even be going to the food pantry. But yeah. So for me, a big culture shock was options. Um,
Mm.
like they have so many options for everything, from groceries to books to they have options. And for me, I don't like wasting time on like now having to figure out, okay, do I pick this or pick that? Like I'm more functional, so let's get it going. So when I see so many options, I'm like, oh, bro, can you just give me milk and let me go? Like, you know. But yeah, so for me, that was a really big culture shock. And the fact that people sat on the floor. Like when they sit on the floor everywhere. Like everywhere. I'm like, if it's not my house, I'm not sitting on the floor because I don't know who cleaned it. But then it's actually clean. Like now you see me, I'll be sitting on the floor. Anywhere you see me, I just drop my things there. Airports, I sit on
Yeah.
the floor because like I realize it's even easier.
Yeah.
There's something about just dropping everything. Like
Drop your yoke and your burdens and sit on the
leave
floor.
it behind. Yeah, but okay, so now let's talk about the academic experience. And maybe tell us a bit about your how you settle in. How did you settle in when you first came? And I know, Matilda, you have moved through schools, so maybe you can, go deeper. Also,
Mm.
is Shivana frozen?
I think she fell off. I've texted her. I don't know
Oh,
if,
so
yeah,
so
maybe she
just
doesn't know what is happening. So maybe just try inviting her again.
okay, because on my screen, she's just smiling.
Oh, okay. Okay. She's frozen.
Ah,
Oh,
perfect.
she's back. Yeah.
Shivana is
I'm
here.
back.
Good.
Okay, but how come Shivana is joining and Francisca
It took
can't join?
me a minute. It kept
Um,
doing. I couldn't
Ask
join.
Francisca if she's using her laptop because I was also on my laptop waiting and it wasn't
Oh,
coming. So I'm using my phone. So if it's the laptop, I don't
Francisca.
know for some reason. Yeah, you can't see any of the
Francisca, please, if you're on
notifications.
your laptop, can you
Mhm.
use your phone?
Yeah.
Because Francisca has juice. Her journey is juicy. um, but yeah, so talk to us about how you settled in academically. So yes, talk to us about that before we go to what
Mm.
just crossed my mind.
So for me, with most things that I have to do in life, I am a firm, like adherent of ask those who have walked the path before you. So before I even started the grad school journey and settling into academics, I'd already done my homework. So spoke to my TAs who had already come to the US for masters and PhD. So I had, a sense of what the structure and the nature of classes were like. So I was not coming in completely blind. I had a theoretical knowledge and I had read a couple of articles because I'm the kind of person I will find articles, I will find websites, I will find books to read about the thing before I start doing it. So I already had that arsenal of information even before I got into it. And even when I started, it wasn't easy for me because I say that because I had to disabuse my mind of a lot of things. And one of the biggest things that I had to unlearn was the fact that somebody's fluency in speaking English doesn't make you less of a better student. And the reason why I say that is because when I sat in the class with my American classmates, I'm like, then these people will just throw some GRE, the words that we were learning for GRE, these people is just on the tip of their tongue, and the English is just flowing with a certain degree of, like fluidity that I'm like, hey, when will I ever get here? Because you make your submission and there's like, you know what I'm saying inside, and it's like, sister, it's not
Do
going
you
well.
get me? You get
Right,
me?
right. So I was always worried about the fact that do these people understand what I'm saying? Why don't I sound more like my classmate? But then I spoke to one of my professors, and she made me understand that yes, when I make contributions, when I make points, they understand. So I shouldn't be too worried or be so in my head about whether the person I'm speaking to understands me. And also, it was just on learning and getting an understanding of the fact that the English that your white classmates are able to speak is because they are so good at it, because literally English is the only language that they grew up speaking. So it's their mother tongue. But for you, you can speak English, you can speak Tree, you can speak Fancy, you understand Ga. So it makes sense that you won't have the same command of the English language as somebody who grew up in America and doesn't even understand or speak Spanish or any other thing. And so for me, it was just, like doing the mental homework of understanding that, this is your journey. You are not the same as your classmates. Because trust me, when you begin to compare yourself to your classmates, you are going to be so miserable. So miserable. And it's one of the things that feeds into this thing of imposter syndrome that we keep hearing so much about. Because you are comparing yourself to somebody who grew up in the first world.
Yeah.
First of all, the kinds of middle school and high school that these people went to, the kinds of assignments and things that these people were doing that has given them the skills and experiences that they have, you don't even have like 30% of it, or dare I say even 20% of it, right? So you have to also be very generous with yourself. And it's something that my professors in grad school kept repeating to me, that be kind to yourself, be generous to yourself, and respect your process and your progress. So yeah, I'll just leave it at that. And if you have any more further questions, I'll
Mhm.
just take it from
So sorry, Matilda, is your page private?
um
I think so.
it's okay.
Because I'm
Okay.
thinking maybe because
Was
Francisca's
not.
page is private, that's why she's unable to
But I don't
join.
think Tilly's page is private, is it?
Oh, maybe let me check.
Yeah, Francisca, maybe check, maybe, oh my goodness. Anyway, you know that thing you said about not comparing yourself to them, because everybody's on their journey, really. And you're coming from a completely different world. And for me, I think another thing that I'll just add to that is be confident in what you bring, because what you bring to them is beyond knowledge, it's an experience. And so they get to experience the world through you.
Yeah.
They get to see so much through you. And I find that really international students are most of the time way more experienced, way more open-minded, and way more intelligent than some of these people. But we cower a lot in, I'm not really sure if, how do I sound, how do I this is that, that. So maybe for anyone watching who you're new here, you're welcome, but it's okay to feel very new. With time, you need to keep consciously reminding yourself and acting out like you are you.
Yeah.
Girl, you are you. Boy, you are you. Anyone, like, and realize that there's something you bring that they don't have. There's one thing that my very first graduate advisor told me. She said, you are here not because of DEI, because we don't consider that in admissions for graduate school. You're here because you are intelligent. You're here because you meet the requirements. Heck, you're even a graduate assistant because you supersede the requirements. And we found you relevant for, this position. Okay, Adelaide says she's back.
Okay.
I think maybe we can add Adelaide.
Hmm.
For some reason, we're not able to
So
add
I just
Francisca.
checked, and yeah, the privacy thing shouldn't be a problem. Did she confirm that she's doing it on her
Yeah,
phone and not
Yeah,
her
she
she
said
laptop?
she
says
she
she's
said
doing it on
that.
her phone, but we can't add her. But anyway, Adelaide, you're welcome back.
Yes, characteristic of this space, they are very on time. So I had to get here by 4:40. I got here 4:40. I had to be out by 4:45. I'm out.
Simple.
Very glasses.
See, systems are working. You notice it. See,
You
you
know,
notice it. That's it.
so I want us to, I know we're talking about like how you settled in and all, but I want us to just touch a bit on the systems are working. And I want to start off by saying that the systems are working. It's working. And one of the things that I have learned is everything here requires independent action.
Yeah.
So independent study, like if you're in class and you're learning, is independent study. Like you come to class, and for me, I'm in my PhD, I've moved away from what I initially started as, like, but my research is still in that line, human development. But I'm now in public policy, and my professors don't care that I don't know some of the political science theories. They don't care that I don't know philosophy. They don't even know that I don't know the philosophist and the John Locke's and the things they are mentioning. So they go on and talk about these things, but it's my responsibility to do independent studies and make sure that I'm learning to catch up. So that I throw the ball to you.
I think I'll
um,
go just go ahead. And I think it even ties in with how you adjust because I think like so I was doing history, linguistics, and Chinese, and I dropped history because I didn't want to write. Because
mm,
you be writing papers, I didn't want to write. Yeah. But I think that the system is working here, like alluding to Tilly, there are a lot of resources. Like professors actually avail themselves that they pay me so that you people use me, so come and use me. Like their career
yes.
resources and all that. But it's also like it's also the fact that like you genuinely have to like do the work. Like you really have to like, okay, this is the thing. And you have to push it because in Ghana there's a lot of like, this is what I give you, produce it back for me. If you don't produce what I give you, you have failed it. But
Mm,
here is more independent because you're applying what you have learned in class a lot of the time. So it's not like, oh, math is 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. You have to define that if 1 plus 1 is equal to 2, the way you bring 2 and 4, you can apply the same logic to give you 2 and 4. And I think that was a struggle when I was starting and adjusting because I'm like, yeah, I know this. I could give you this thing, but you're like, no. Actually, I need you to portray that you actually understand it. And like the way Ghanaians they do a lot of like grammar, it's like I am very thorough and pathologically inclined to let you understand concise English. Let's go. Let's move on. Right? And it just goes to show like sometimes you don't need to be verbose to get everything. Like that's another part of like the system working. Like simplicity is sometimes the way to go.
yeah.
And it's not like you even though it's very independent, everything is at your disposal. People at your disposal, your classmates at your disposal, career resources. Like I know we had a career center in UG, but I think it had a very bad name. So I was just like career center. Okay, why am I the one? Why am I the one to go there? I don't think I ever went there. But here it's just like they set up office hours 3 p.m. before you go to class at 5:30. They are there. You just have a conversation. Do you have any questions? And it's just like it makes even your independent learning easier unless you're a very lazy student. Like this is what you have available. Professors will give you syllabus, required resources, supplementary resources, additional resources.
Yeah.
Like if you fail, truly, it's your fault or your family people are really heavy, but they can't be heavier than God. So yeah, I think that I feel like academically the system was working just because of like the plethora of options that we had. Like, I feel like mind blowing was like professors like, oh, come to my office hours. Do you need help? To the T is asking, do you need help? Like, just come. Like, and it's because I know that UG, at least not from my department, but I used to hear people that professors will flex them. So again, I had to break that shackle. Like, this is what is available. Are you going to just hold on to the fact that oh, this is how I knew OG like UG teachers to be. So I'm gonna like, oh, my
Go with that.
professors don't like me,
Yeah.
or I'm actually gonna break that like mindset and actually take advantage of my professors. And like they were so helpful. They'll be honest with you, but not in a very condescending way.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you're talking about the plenty English. Oh, we can't hear you. Did you say something?
No, I don't think she.
Oh yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. Okay. All right.
Yeah,
Perfect.
my
But when she was talking,
go
Shibona,
ahead.
when you're talking about the big English, I remember one of my professors called me male, very tall, and like when he comes to class, I feel like I'm even hey, this man's really tall, and it was very intimidating for me. And after a test, he came to the class. I'll leave a lot of the details out, but then I did really well on the test. But he calls me and he says, "You know what? Stop writing plenty. I just want the answer. Like if it's a short essay, I mean it's a short
Yeah.
essay. Don't give me a page." And I said, okay. But in Ghana, if they ask you what is what is education? Uh Kweji Agri once said,
To
To
educate a man.
educate.
educate a man is to educate an individual. But if you
to,
educate a woman, you have educated a nation. Hence, what is education? Then I'll now break down education, examples of education, how to educate, where to educate.
Hindrances to education.
And he's saying it's just a short essay I asked you for. And he said, I really think that you will be more confident if you go straight to the point. And I was like, oh, okay. It means here they don't talk plenty. We just show
No
action, go
page had
straight.
it.
It took me 2 years to fully understand what that meant. It means when they say, and so sometimes they'll finish like, here when it's test and stuff, when you finish, you leave. That was also a very foreign concept for me, but I'll be wondering, why are people going? Are they not writing? I'll be writing. I'll be writing. And then now I hear that, hey, sister, they don't need all this definition and all of that. Concepts to an intro of just give the answer, go straight to the point. You can add supporting documents, but the answer is the answer. Nothing changes it. And all your plenty talking, and the professor says, stop ad-libbing. I was like, oh, God. I'm giving you my wisdom. You are calling it ad libs.
Atlas, can you imagine?
But yeah, definitely they don't want it's not about how heavy words, or grammatical you can be. It's about expression of an understanding. And they're not even looking for definitions, really.
Yeah.
What so if this is the definition, what do you understand by it?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Tilly Adelaide.
I guess it's here. It's life is what you make it. I mean, it is everywhere, but life really is what you make it. To be independent means you should be intentional. If you are not intentional about the process, again, you will struggle. Every day you have excuses, and people will entertain your excuses up to a point, and then like and then it's done. Once you become like tagged or known as the person who always has the excuses,
That's it.
whether you like it or not, it will follow you. That's it. That's the end.
Mm.
Case closed. When there's an opportunity and your name comes up, it's like, oh, are you sure she's not going to have to do this thing? Maybe you are very free. Oh, like that is even the one thing that you really would
Mm-hmm.
have done
Want
without an
to
excuse. But because
your
you are
track
known for
record.
giving, yes. And so life really is what you make it. And then with regard to academics specifically, like how in Ghana you can go through a program without really reading a textbook, right?
Mm.
It's slides and handout, and you will make it beautiful. You will go.
Without stress.
If you like, don't read the textbook. If you like, just don't read it. Unless the professor clearly says, oh, like this
It's
textbook is an
additional.
additional.
Yeah.
But then if it is
Required.
record
Bolded. Required books.
bold italicized as a required textbook, know that regardless of how big it is, you are going to read it from page one to the very last page. But they make it easy. It's not like go and finish this textbook, right? Week one, you are doing 3 chapters or 2 chapters. Week two, through to the 16 weeks. So that makes it like helpful. But again, if you decide that it's just textbooks and so you would not read, you go and sit in the class and you'll be
You
deaf and dumb by force.
embarrass yourself.
You you cannot say anything is what happens. And eyes are watching. If you think, okay, I can go through this class without saying anything, just sitting down and not commenting. Well, if it's a master's program, you probably want to go into a PhD program. You need someone to recommend you.
Mm.
Yeah.
Who who knows that you exist beyond your name in the computer, your name on the roster? If it's a PhD, you think, oh, that's the last stop. You want a job. Who knows that you
Yeah.
exist? So it really is what you make of it.
Mm.
And I know that sometimes in our community, by our community, I mean the Ghanaian community, people will be like, you are doing too much. Or, my dear,
Do it.
you are doing less. You are doing less.
Yeah.
You are not, because if you look at our colleagues from, especially from this space and from other spaces, they have a CV. We don't. That is it. They have a CV. They've done 1,001 things before coming into graduate school. They've had that exposure. They've had research exposure. You haven't had the research exposure. And someone is giving you the opportunity to put yourself out there, to do extracurriculars, to do research. And you are listening to people telling you that you are doing too much. You are not doing enough. You are doing less because you are now an adult. So it's not like you are in SS, someone come and ring the bell and say, time to go to class.
Angelus.
It is Angelus or yes. It is time for you to like build your own life. And I tell people that if there's anything you want to lose, don't lose your reputation.
Mm.
If there's anything you want to lose, keep your reputation intact. Because if you are going to get a job, there probably is someone on that board who knows someone at your previous institution. And it's like,
They're
oh,
gonna
this
call.
girl,
Yeah.
oh, I know her too well. And that's
I
it.
don't I don't think she's gonna be a good fit. I think you should pick someone else. That's it.
That's
They're
it.
Yes.
plain. Nobody is going to sugarcoat anything and say, oh,
No,
you're a
like they
good
are so
person.
blunt.
You don't
Who has
deserve it.
time?
Yeah.
Who has time to sugarcoat
Yeah.
words? And then when they are saying good things about you, oh my God, you ask yourself whether it is you.
It's you.
So I saw a recommendation someone wrote for me. And I was like, is it me? Are you joking?
It is
And this
you.
and this recommendation, so actually the person who received it like sent it to me and was like, hey, look at what this person has to say about you. And I was just like, "Intimi pa mini." Like, and like
That's the
even
same
words
way
I
if
will
you were a
not use for
terrible
myself.
person.
Mm-hmm.
That's the same way if you were a terrible person. Oh my
Yep.
God. They will write it
Yeah.
and say it.
Yeah.
So you see that the system works in the fact that they are honest. And this is a trust-based system. I, I would not lie on my recommendation for you because
Mm-hmm.
it puts my credibility
Yep.
at stake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's it. You want me to say you are a stellar individual when even when I ask you to go and run an errand, you will not go. Or when I ask you to go and collect data, you will cook the data. And you want me to say you're a stellar
Hey.
individual. Like there's there's no way. You see, the truth is painful, and people who know me know that I like to say the truth.
Yeah.
I'm learning how to tone down the truth, but the truth is the truth.
Yeah.
Right. Be diligent.
Mm.
In Ghana, we call it postaya.
Mm.
We call it 2
Be
months. But
Poskaya.
in this country, my dear, put it on your head.
Carry it on your
Bana.
head.
Mm.
Carry it on your head and be good at it because life really is what you make it beyond you just being in the space. And I walked into this conversation about diversity. I know that, like, for example, at my previous institution, I had someone else, an African, tell me that, oh, you are like everywhere doing everything, and it's just because of the color of your skin. But I knew that it wasn't because of the color of my skin. I knew that it's because I'm a good person, one. Two, I'm responsible. Three, I'm diligent. If you ask me to do something, I will do it. It's not because I'm the only black or brown person in the space, it's because I'm the
Mm.
person who will do the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so don't let anyone
Mm.
tell you that, oh, you won this, or they put you in this position, or they allowed you to do this because of the color of your skin. It's a lie.
Mm.
You are more than the color of your
Mm.
skin.
Mm.
You bring in rich knowledge, rich exposure. They're like people who have lived all their lives in a particular state, but you have crossed the sea. Like, no, like, think about it. You
Yeah.
have crossed the sea. You have seen people beyond your little space. You have taken a risk
Yeah.
to come into a space where you probably do not have family, and you want to succeed, and you want to tell me that someone is telling you. And the painful one is the fact that it's people in our own circles, like people who look like
Yeah.
us, people who
Right.
came with us, who are underachieving and want us to be like them.
Mm. Yeah.
Right? They want
Yeah.
us to be like them. And so they will tell us stories and things to put us in a defeatist mindset.
In
Please.
In a what mindset? In a what mindset?
Defeatist, defeatist.
It's
Like,
okay.
exactly, because, like, I mean, you
Yeah,
are failing, so you want me to fail with
right.
you, or
Mm.
we don't have the
Mediocre
same
likes
goals.
company, so you have to
Exactly.
join
Like,
the company.
exactly. And our goals do not align. But me, I'm building a future post now into the future for my children and my children's children to
Mhm.
have something to hold on to. So thank you very much if you do not want to go that way. But that's the way I choose to go. And I'm not going to listen to what you say about the way I choose to go. It's unfair
That's
to
true.
me now and even to my children. That's just what it is.
Mm.
Yeah.
Solid.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Matilda.
that's yeah. I really like what you guys have shared, like chef's kiss to that. And one thing I wanted to add to the points that Shivona and Adelaide have raised is the fact that in America, if you are secretive, it is going to cost you. If you are the Ghanaian thing where there's something wrong with you, but you are doing I'm okay, I'm okay, everything is fine, it's going well.
It
Okay,
is well.
because in America people respect boundaries. So once you
Yeah.
communicate that you are fine, no one is going to probe. And I'll give an example. When I was doing my masters, when with grad classes, before like we get into the matter of the day, there's conversations about how is everybody
Yeah.
doing, how was your weekend. Instead of me to articulate that, well, I'm struggling so and so and so, I'll be doing the Ghanaian thing of, oh, I'm fine, I'm managing, everything is glorious, everything is fabulous. But I was really struggling because one of the things that was a cultural shock was that for my program, for every week, every class, you are reading a book. And I'm not talking about like you have a textbook and we are using it for the whole semester. If this week we are talking about, let's say, Italian immigrations to the US in the 19th century, there's a 200-page book you have to read to come and talk for 2 hours in the night. The next week, there's another book. And there was idiot me who was reading everything page by page. So it means that if my week ends on Thursday, I have to start preparing for the next week that same Thursday. There's nothing like, oh, you are winding down.
Break.
Friday, you are doing Netflix. Then Saturday, you pick up the pace. If you do that, you already be in a deficit. So I was always trying to take the book. Okay, I'll read page one, then I'll read page two. So I realized that I was always so tired. I was so exhausted, and I couldn't follow the conversations as much as I would like to. But then finally, I opened up to one of my professors, and she realized that, oh my God, we don't read like that in grad school. Nobody expects you to read page by page. Nobody does that. It's not done. So she shared a resource with me about how to mine a book to get the most important information. And technically, you still have read the whole book, but then there's a more intelligent way to do it. So imagine if I hadn't opened up about my struggles with absorbing the course material and I was doing the Ghanaian thing of, I'm fine. Oh, by God's grace, everything is fine. Oh, I would have just been suffering.
Yeah.
So it's one of the things that I had to actively unlearn, especially in a part of the world where, as if you are a woman, especially, you are celebrated and you are clapped for when you see more docile and, oh, Dindio, she keeps to
Yeah.
herself. Oh, she's a lady like that. Oh, so it looks like, oh, you get applause for being secretive. But in this part of the world, if you are secretive and you are not inquisitive enough, you are not going to get the
Yeah.
information. The information is not just going to come to you. You have to you get resources by being in conversation with
People.
people. We're having a
True.
conversation, everybody's articulating their burnout and everything. Then someone shares a resource about, oh, okay, did you know that on campus there's a room where it's a meditation room, you can just go and sit down and decompress? Do you know that there's this? Do you know there's free yoga lessons? But you don't get access to those things when you are always keeping things
Yes.
to your chest. So
Yeah.
for me, was one of the like very very important things that I had to grapple with when I came to the US in 2019.
Okay, we have a few questions from people. I want us to take those
Okay.
because I also want to be respectful of time. And then if we have a little time, I can ask a few more questions. So, okay, so Matilda, a question just came for you. If you can teach people on how to mine the book. And then Adelaide, a question came from for you asking if but also please keep the questions concise. We don't want plenty stories. Basically, okay, basically they like your confidence and you sound very learned and experienced. How would you say that your okay, so basically is your confidence something that has to do with your background or did you learn it? Is what the person is asking.
So I guess it's two ways. Like, I have a dad who would not let me keep quiet, but online. Like I remember there was a certain man and I had to like he did something and I was saying it, he was like, go away, I won't talk to you. I like you're a woman. And I told my dad, and my dad said, if he won't talk to you, then he really doesn't have anyone else to talk to. So I'm from a space where I have been allowed to talk and I
Mm,
have learned where to talk. I have taken like advantage of like groups and opportunities. When I was in Ghana, I was part of Toastmasters because I was like trying to learn how to speak in professional spaces. And so like that also helped me. In my primary school, JSS, I was like debating into SS, also like doing debates. So that has been helpful. And just also knowing that I don't want to be silenced. I have a voice. Let me use it until the day God takes it away from me.
Yes.
I believe that it's also like if you don't say it, no one knows it, right? And as Tilly said, you are facing a crisis. You are not talking about it, and so it's like we're just opening up and talking and talking and talking. That's how I came to it. But I really people don't believe this, but I'm naturally a very quiet person. A lot of people don't believe it, but I'm an extremely quiet, sort of introverted person until I have to take a step. And when I have to take a step, that's it. I just would like go.
mm. Okay. So this is another open question. Somebody is saying that please, you people should go into the finances part. Another person is saying, okay, how do you get opportunities when you are here and there are so many legal limitations, like rules and stuff? And then, okay, I think I should take them one at a time. So, Matilda, I
Yeah.
think the mining, because somebody else
Yes.
has also asked again if you could share about the strategy. So, please touch on it.
Yes. Okay. So let's just make this as practical as possible. So let's assume this is a book that you have to read for a class you have tomorrow, right? Now, the first thing you have to remember is that you are not the first person who has read this book and is going to make a contribution to it, which means that one of the ways to get a very summarized version of the book is to go and look for book reviews. You go to the library website, even on Google, just do book reviews about, let's say, pandas in China. You put it in the Google search, and the first thing you're looking for is book reviews. Now, what the book review is going to do for you is that it's going to summarize the entirety and the most important argument of the books to you in, let's say, 200 words or more. Now, after you've read the book review, it gives you a sense of, oh, okay, this is what the author is making. These are the important contributions. And then the next thing you do is that you go and read the introduction of the book. Honestly, the introduction is the most important part of the book because what authors do with the introduction is that they are condensing everything in the 6 chapters in that one chapter. So for the introduction, you are supposed to read every single word in the introduction chapter. And the introduction chapter, really, it's not that long. If you compare it to the 200 pages of the book, the introduction chapter is usually like 10, 14, at most 15. I haven't seen an introduction chapter that is even 20 pages. So for the introduction chapter, you have to sit with it. Now, when you are reading the introduction chapter, what you do is that you pay attention to how the author summarizes what they are going to do in every chapter. So for the introduction chapter, you realize that you come to a part where the author says, for example, in chapter 1, I examine the color or the fur of the pandas and what they eat. And over here, I make the argument that, so it means that in the introduction chapter, the author has already told you the conclusions of what they are going to say in chapter 1. So it means that even if you don't read chapter 1 too much in detail, they've already told you what is there in the introduction chapter. And you do the same for all the other chapters. And then you also pay attention to the theme of the class. If, for example, the course you are taking or the theme for that week is going to be about the eating habits of panda bears, it tells you that what is going to be central in that conversation is probably what the pandas eat. So it means that for the particular book you have to read, that is what you have to be paying attention to. So sort of extract the information about the theme for the class so that when you go into the class, you know that even though the book had 5 chapters, really the only chapter that you are going to be spending a lot of time talking about is the chapter on the eating habits of pandas, because that is essentially what the professor has put in the syllabus that we are going to be discussing. So you read the introduction chapter, every single word of the introduction chapter, then you also skim the chapters. So when you skim the chapters, let's say for example chapter 3, you read the first sentence of every paragraph. So for that, it it actually takes a bit of skill before you can master it with skimming the chapters. So you read and for me, it's something that I'm able to do because I can read very fast with my eyes. So basically, you just read the first sentence of each paragraph. And what the first sentence of each paragraph does is that's where the topic sentence is. So it tells you what's in the paragraph. So for certain paragraphs, it's more of the author is just giving more examples. So maybe you don't need more examples. So you skip that and you go to the next thing. And then another chapter that is also important is the conclusion. With the conclusion chapter, they are summing up and they are wrapping up the arguments over there. And so, yeah, just to sum everything up, look for the book reviews. Those things will save you time. I had instances where myself, and I later realized that my classmates were doing it. We were really surviving and subsisting on book reviews that we were reading. And in certain instances, you find out that there's a resource called Spark Notes. I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but in Spark Notes, you find out that it's people who like have knowledge about a topic and they've done a very summarized version of it. You can also do that. And also in instances where you have to read a book that is very, very popular, it will surprise you to know that if you go on YouTube, you find a book, a video where somebody has summarized and they are giving a talk about it. So just look for it. And also another very like strategic thing to do, especially when you are reading a book to go into a conversation or to go and talk to a group of people about, is that learn how to weaponize what you have time to read. So for example, if you spend a lot of time reading chapter 1, it means that when you enter that grad class, be strategic enough to make sure that you are steering the conversation towards chapter 1 that you have read, so that everything that everybody is saying, so that it's like, oh yeah, picking back of what Shivana said, picking back of what Adelaide said, when really it's only chapter 1 that you read, but somehow you've managed to make 45 minutes of that class conversation about what only you read. So then it looks like at the end of the class you are the most vocal and intelligent person there, but really you just read it 2 chapters. So it's also about weaponizing what you had time to read. So yeah, that's definitely
Absolutely. The questions keep coming. But what I just want to add to what you said, I think if you are shifting from one field to another, where you do not have foundational knowledge, please sit down and learn. Sit down and read, because you'll be doing yourself a disservice if you want to mine. You get the foundation and then you can start mining, but you sit down and read. And I think when you transition here, very early on in your transition, start picking the habit of wanting to read. And one thing that Matilda taught me is intentionally block time and say, at this time, I'm reading. If you don't, if please, I'm busy, I'm reading. And if you don't do that, you realize that time will pass and a week has gone by and you haven't done any reading or any learning. The other thing I want to say is, when you want to lead conversations, make sure you know your facts, or else you will look very silly. Very, very, very silly. And there's a thing about Ghanaians, and I know this from, I was in a really huge class in Ghana. People just want to talk. People just want to be heard. Over here, the class sizes are smaller. So if you want to talk, somebody will ask you a question about something you said, and they'll be honest that they didn't read it. So if you can go deeper, go deeper. And then you'll be looking at them like, okay, and you just make a mess out of yourself. But there are lots of questions coming. I think we should touch on the finances. And so someone is saying that, talk a bit about the finances part. Okay, so maybe let's talk about how you got scholarships, or how will you tell people to get opportunities,
All right.
financial
So,
Okay.
opportunities to
Go then.
fund your schooling.
yeah, if you don't ask, you don't know.
Bam. Give us a second to let us stew. Go on.
If you don't ask, you don't know. So let's take it from two perspectives. You've gained admission into a program and it doesn't come with funding. Persistence helps. Be persistent. Ask. Because by that April 15th deadline, there are people who probably got 10 offers and have decided not to come, not to take the offer that was given them by your specific school. And so maybe that is hanging. So be persistent, keep asking, be nice about it. And then if you are here, and I mean, you're probably getting a stipend or something, but you have to go for conferences, etc. Departments have money and endowments. Read emails. Oh my God, I can't say this enough. Read. Look, the information is in the email you deleted.
Why are you
No,
deleting them?
don't
Why are you
delete it. Oh,
deleting them?
they'll just do swipe as read, and then they'll
Mark
just
all
move
as
on.
red.
The money you are looking for, that is where it is. And just be nice to people. You see the people in the office, the assist, my dear, if you're a rude person, drop it. Be, because they will show you where things are. These people have been here for years. You just came and you think that because you are in a
Ahomaso.
graduate program and are going to
Time.
become a professor in the future, you will disrespect them. You are disrespecting your own money.
Come on.
Yeah.
Ask questions. If you need funding for something, ask, is there a funding pool for this, or do I have to apply? What is the process? How early do I have to apply? Read emails, ask people, your colleagues. They know things. If you know somebody, in Ghana we call them information ministers. You have someone in your circle who knows everything from top to down. Go to that person and go and ask. There's no shame in asking questions. So you need the money. Where's the shame? You don't have it. Where is the
Yeah.
shame? You see, we do this thing to ourselves and we make ourselves struggle. Ask people. If you see that someone has won an award or a fellowship or something, it's not time to be envious. It's time to ask questions. Please, how did you
And
do it?
people are
Can
actually willing
you?
to help you. That's the thing.
Oh, they will help you. Someone can give you everything you need to put in the application. All you will need to do is to apply wisdom in how to use the resources, and you would also get it. People don't hide information in this space. This is an information economy. Ask questions, be willing to do the work. I always say that before you get $50, you would have written about yourself like
Yeah.
10,000. You you you'll be describing your work. You'll be writing about yourself. But then at the end of the day, you will get what you're asking for, and be honest about it. You see, sometimes we want to take a lot for ourselves, but don't do that. Take what you need and leave the rest for the person coming behind you. You need, and you see, the funny thing is that in this case, you bring receipts. You think that they are giving you the money and you go and do whatever you want. You have to come and show working. You have to bring a receipt for whatever you used the money
Yeah.
for. And be
Yeah.
honest. Be like, use the money for what you said you were going to use it for and account for it. Ask questions, don't hide. And then to our own people too, when people come and ask us where we found the money from,
Sure.
please share. I have had a very interesting experience with someone else. The person told me that the computer she used to apply is no longer the computer she's using. You see, that is the exact way I looked at the message when I saw it. And I was like, oh my God, this person has sowed a seed into time. Because I wouldn't do that to you. But you have sowed a seed into time. You think you are teaching me wisdom by a certain way because, one, we are not in the same institution. Two, if I get it, it's not like it's money I'm going to spend on myself. It's going to like advance my work. But for you to tell me that the computer you use is not the computer you have access to anymore, is the most absurd thing you can say.
Yeah.
But trust me, if I had gone to ask someone who was not one of us, the person would have given me everything I needed.
Yes.
So let's just
Awesome.
be kind and nice to ourselves because maybe it's just the way I think, but if I succeed, it's not just you, it's all of us. And every action or inaction regards to money, education is a seed into time. I say this because, like me, I benefit a lot from things that my father has done for people. I stayed in the UK for 3 weeks. I didn't pay for accommodation. Someone took me in because my father did something for him. My father shared a resource to him long time ago before my father even thought of having me. But you see, I'm reaping the benefits today. So for sharing, this is a knowledge economy, it's an information economy. If you need money, go and ask. If someone comes to ask you, where did you find this? Please share the information. It won't
Yeah.
kill you. The money is not for you. Like that's the whole point too.
Yeah.
The money is not for you. And sometimes it's not even just about someone. So we've spoken about how people can find. You can also be a way by which people find information or find money. If you know about a funding source, Go and tell them that, oh, there's like funding for this. This looks like it aligns with your work. If the person gets it, we all win. Why do you want to be that person with all the access to the resources so people will be leeching off you? Won't you get tired?
Yeah.
Honestly, won't you get tired? You will be so exhausted if everybody is like having to grow from. So, as you teach people to fish and as you want to fish, be intelligent about it, be smart about it, but please share information.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll say some just to add to something you said. We have the mindset that like where we're coming from, only one person needs to hold the cake.
Mm-hmm.
But here, like the cake is huge. Like it's enough to go round. And I think if we begin to look at it as more like that than let me just amass for myself. And then something I've also just experienced personally is when you see something that's not for you, you know it. When you share with somebody is relevant to, like it, you start to create a link. People will
Sow a
share
seed in
things.
time.
It will go around. Like Adelaide shares things with me all the time. And funny enough, everything she shares with me is a banger. And I'm just like, if she hadn't shared it with me, I wouldn't have gotten that. So because of that, I'm also like, you know what? Maybe if you share with people, they'll also know that, oh, when something comes and I see, I'll also share with you. So just share with people. It's not that a and there are certain scholarships you cannot win twice. Once you get it, it's finished.
It's
After
done.
you get it, you pass it on to the
Somebody
next
else.
person. Like,
Mm.
please, sisters, over to you.
I think that America is a very social capital country. Like every person matters. Like your answer is with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that as Ghanaians, sometimes we can be very embarrassed. Like I said, oh, Ferriadi, like you're very embarrassed to ask people for some things. But my dear, we have to like put our shame away. Like email admissions. And people, I think that's the thing. People genuinely want to help you. All you have to do is just open your mouth and ask. Like you can email admissions and within 20 minutes they've responded to you. Oh, these are the available options. Or you could do this. And people actually take the extra time to come back and check on you. Oh, were you able to reach out? Let me connect back to them. So it goes back to being kind. Don't be embarrassed. Like you need the money. You can't survive on the money you have. So ask the questions. And especially when you come in, like at the beginning, like, oh, subscribe to this department thing, subscribe to this, subscribe to everything. Like your emails will round full, but subscribe because in one of those emails, there'll be some random 5,000. You just have to show how this person's goal fund, this person's concept relates to you and how you're going to use it. Just give them a 5,000 word essay, add your resume, have professional like reference. That's it. Like free money that you can
Yeah.
use. Say, oh, this I used to buy books. Like it's available, but I think that we have to take our pride aside and just like be willing to ask, like, Charlie, I don't have money and I
Yeah.
need the money. What are the resources available? And then as you get, don't be like the Dead Sea, like everybody's saying, give out, give out, and then it keeps circling back.
I
But
love it.
yeah,
I just want to say that sometimes when you reach out to people, especially like the staff, admissions office and stuff, especially in person or even emails, and they sound like they are rude or they are upset, calm down. They are not upset.
Calm
They are
down.
not
You literally took
rude.
the words out of my
Yeah.
mouth.
Like they are not upset. So you calm down. Because and again, for me, I notice it stems from the source, the origin. The seed that I crossed to come here, no. It doesn't allow for room to give benefits of the
yeah,
doubt. Like if somebody tells you something and looks at you a particular way, then it's like, eh, I don't know, then am I they are not upset. Sometimes, like it's not that deep. Just go back,
yeah,
reach out to them again. And there's something that my dad said to me that has really, really helped me. He said the only question that's a foolish
the
question is
question
what you
that
didn't ask.
yeah,
So just ask and like the simple questions. And I told somebody, and I keep saying this, people like to talk about themselves. So a very nice icebreaker when you enter these offices, like you spot something that will you can just ask about
Oh,
that
you
will
have
give them the
connections to
chance.
Harvard?
Charlie, it will give them once somebody realizes that you are interested in them, they will
Yeah.
be interested in you. They will tell you that, sister, I'll give you the way. So yeah, who was going to talk, Matilda?
Yeah, I was just going to say, yeah, you guys I couldn't have put it any better. Like Adelaide, solid point. And I was just going to add, and well, you already touched a bit on it about mastering the art of writing emails. You know, we come from a part of the world where you might think, okay, you know how to speak English, you know how to type, but it's not just that. It's the way that you are communicating to the person about what you want. You're asking for money. Nobody wants to hear. Sometimes people don't want to hear a story about your mother is sick or your grandmother is sick. There's a way that you can ask for the help that you need. Maybe you can go, instead of asking for, okay, I'm looking for a job, maybe you can ask if there's a faculty in the department who is working on a research and is looking for a research
Research
assistant.
assistant,
You just
yeah.
want to pick